Hamilton County is set to invest more than $1 million at the banks, with funds earmarked for security at the Black Music Walk of Fame and the construction of a guard booth. But just steps away, a number of empty lots sit idle, just waiting to be developed.
WCPO 9's Paula Christian is uncovering the critical questions about the leadership and the future of the banks.
The banks was supposed to be a crown jewel on the city's riverfront. But 25 years later, why are there still so many empty lots here? And who is really in charge of this $1 billion public investment?
This is what the riverfront was supposed to look like: a wharf, public landing, and boardwalk. And 25 years later, none of this exists.
I would give us a C-.
Chris Boards helped the banks get off the ground when he was on Cincinnati City Council in the early 2000s with then Councilman Jeff Birding, who described the banks as a disappointment in January and said the project's working group
hasn't really done its job that well.
That group is known as the Joint Bank Steering Committee. It's supposed to make recommendations to the city and the county about the project's future. The WCPO 9 I-Team discovered that group has not held a public meeting in 5.5 years. A city-county agreement states the group is supposed to meet at least 4 times a year.
It is a colossal failure of leadership that the working group has become essentially defunct.
Boards worries about a power vacuum, which he says is leading to bad decisions. This comes at a critical time for the banks. The future of Paycor Stadium is in limbo because the Bengals' lease with the county expires next year. The banks is also in danger of losing Heritage Bank Center. Many leaders want to relocate it closer to the new convention center, which worries business owners such as Jim Mooring, especially after GE closed the office at the banks last year.
I would love to see GE not go away. Would love to have seen everything stay full down here.
We asked the county for a current list of Joint Bank Steering Committee members. Former Mayor Charlie Lucan is one of them. He says he doesn't know anything about the banks because the group doesn't meet or make any decisions. Meanwhile, the county is making its own decisions. Commissioners voted last October to spend $831,000 on unarmed security guards and want to build a guard booth at the Black Music Walk of Fame at an estimated cost of $200,000.
Who's pushing a guard shack? Why is that necessary?
The city and the county also signed a deal in September of 2020 with a Chicago developer to build an office tower at the banks. Nearly 5 years later, that project has not broken ground. Carl Gertmoller says the pandemic and remote work killed demand for office space.
I don't know why home ownership wouldn't work. You look at the success of some of the condo projects on the Kentucky side of the river.
That's something Boards agrees with.
The priority ought to be, let's fill out the rest of the blocks. And let's take a look at this office deal that clearly isn't going to get off the ground.
At the banks, Paula Christian, WCPO 9 I-Team.
No one from the county would do an interview with Paula, but they provided us a statement saying the Joint Bank Steering Committee was formed at a time when it was helpful to have a third-party bridge communication. Currently, the city and county enjoy a fantastic working relationship.